What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and the creators of South Park came out swinging last night in their season 26 premiere. I can tell you right now, there are very few things in this world that I enjoy more than South Park. I have loved South Park ever since the very first episode, and as a super fan, I could say that some seasons kind of fell off. And that it seemed like they were almost losing track for a while, but lately, I feel like the episodes are getting better, and maybe that's because there's just so much crazy stuff going on in the world to make fun of. Now, yesterday's episode, if you haven't watched it, I encourage you all to watch it. They tackled the Kanye West situation. I'm sure you all have heard about the controversy that was going on with Kanye West and some of the stuff that he says. And listen, I don't agree with everything Kanye says, but I agree with some of what he says. But at the end of the day, I am a big supporter of free speech and allowing people to freely speak, even if they sound like an idiot, even if they say stupid things. I think people should be allowed to say what they want to say. But, you know, South Park, it's always been good at showing both sides. South Park is one of the only shows that still pokes fun at both sides. And in yesterday's episode, they were poking fun at everyone. And it's funny because they were repeating the same claims that Kanye put out there that got Kanye canceled. They were just putting it all out there because South Park gives no Fs. At one point, it was revealed that Cartman was kind of Kanye West. You have to be really paying attention to the Kanye controversy to get some of the references in this episode. But Kanye was doing the rounds, doing interviews in this mask. He went on the Alex Jones show and other shows wearing this mask, and people were asking, how do we know it's Kanye? Well, in the South Park episode, it was really just Cartman appearing on these podcasts and stuff in the mask. It was absolutely hilarious. Like I said, they were poking a lot of fun at Kanye, but they were even poking fun at themselves. As you know, I believe one of the creators of South Park is Jewish, if not both of them. I think it's just one of them. But, I mean, it was just a really fun episode that made fun of things from every side. But of course, Kyle being the Jewish person, and there's always a running joke about Kyle being Jewish, and we know how Cartman feels about that. Cartman puts this rumor out there that Kyle runs Hollywood. Now, the internal conflict that's happening in this episode, besides the hijinks of Eric Cartman, is that Token and Kyle, they've become good friends, and they are filming TikToks together. So Kyle isn't hanging out with Stan as much. Stan isn't saying anything about it, but Cartman takes it upon himself to try to ruin that relationship and to try to pit the Jewish character Kyle against the black character Token. And, you know, a lot of funny things happen throughout the episode, and that's the reason why Cartman becomes basically Kanye West. But throughout this episode, there's a lot of jokes floating around, and I don't want to focus on that. What I'm here to talk about is the fact that in this episode, they acknowledge the problem with woke Hollywood. They acknowledge the problem with Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel. And I gotta say, it kind of almost left me speechless for just a moment because I almost didn't see it coming, but I should have known that South Park would feel the same as a lot of us when it comes to this woke agenda that they've pushed in these movies. But at one point in the episode, Stan's dad, Randy, which is one of my favorite characters, he comes over to Kyle's house to talk to Kyle's dad, Gerald. Now, you think that he's there to talk about the relationship between Stan and Kyle, because their relationship is a little rocky. So at first it appears that Randy is there to talk to Gerald about the relationship with their two sons, their friendship. But in reality, he's there because he believes the rumor that Cartman put out there that Kyle runs Hollywood. So he goes there wanting to talk to Gerald, wanting Gerald to talk to Kyle, telling Kyle that he needs to take a lot of this identity politics and this woke political propaganda. He needs to take that out of these movies because it's ruining Hollywood. And it ruined the Marvel franchise. He literally says it. I wanted to play a clip, but YouTube's really funny about that. I'm not trying to get copyright claimed and all of that madness. But if you have time, go watch the episode. He calls out the very same thing that I call out on this channel and that other people are calling out on their channels. I'm sure some of you all have witnessed or watched other YouTubers talk about this stuff. And it was refreshing to see Hollywood, and I don't really count South Park as Hollywood. I guess you could, but they poke more fun at Hollywood than almost anyone. But it was good to see them acknowledge the problem that's going on in Hollywood right now. And it was nice for me to see that at the very least, there is one show still holding out. I feel like Family Guy has kind of bent the knee lately. I feel like basically all content has turned into woke political propaganda, basically. I can't think of many movies or TV shows that I could watch where I don't feel like I'm getting preached to. And that's what Randy said in this episode. It feels like we're getting preached to in these movies. There's all of these messages and stuff, and we just want to be entertained. We just want to be entertained. And that's all we really want. And it's crazy because we are labeled like we are Yahtzees. We're the second coming of Hitler. All because we just don't want political propaganda put into our comic book movies. I have no problem with the fact that people may vote differently than me. They may think differently than me. They may live differently than me. That's fine. I don't want my own views and political opinions stuffed into movies either. I just want to have some mindless entertainment. But we cannot get away from the propaganda. And if you want to get away from the propaganda, basically the only show left on television that you could watch is South Park. Because at the very least, they'll acknowledge it. And they've been acknowledging this whole woke PC movement since day one. Well before us, you watching this video and me, well before we noticed a lot of these issues in Hollywood, South Park was pointing it out for years with their PC principle and their various storylines they've been having. And that's something that I had to go back and acknowledge. Last night, I had to go back and watch some episodes of South Park, not really old episodes, but episodes from 2, 3, 4 years ago, and realize that, oh, y'all were warning us that this was coming. Y'all were warning us that entertainment was going to go this way. Y'all were calling this out before anyone else. So that was crazy to realize that, oh, I was watching all of these episodes and I found them kind of funny, but I didn't know what they were really referring to because down here in the South, you know, we weren't affected by a lot of this stuff in the ways that people out in LA were already being affected. It took longer to make it down here, if you will. So it's funny seeing that they've been calling this stuff out for years. And in last night's episode, it's just a short scene. But to see Randy Marsh be like, yeah, you're ruining the Marvel franchise with all of the woke stuff, that was like gold to me. It was amazing. It was amazing. And it further reaffirms why I love South Park. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.